Welcome back. My name is Sandeep. In the last episode or chapter, we saw how to filter out the records, then how to, let me go over here, how to filter out the records, how to create custom fields, and then create records in Airtable. In this episode, what we are going to do is do some calculations. What calculations are we going to do? We are going to find a total number of orders and what is the total of all the booked orders. And that's what Jason wants, and he needs to send it to his team members at Discord or at Discord. We're going to use code node over here. Let's see what we're going to do is we're going to see this workflow. I'm going to copy it. Just for the sake of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new workflow. That way you'll learn how to duplicate this, calculating booked orders. So I'm going to name it as 2.5, calculating booked orders, duplicate. Now we have a new workflow that we need. I'm going to close the old one. Let's go back. I'm going to copy this workflow file. Not that we need it, but still it's good. Paste it. So until this, the workflow is pretty much the same. Only thing new is this code node. What is there in the code node? All right. So the way you add code node over here is, why are we adding it over here? Let's go back one step. These are the orders which are processing. Let me run this. So these are the processing orders and these are the booked orders. So I can create another filter over here called as, booked ones, but we don't need to do that. Because we already have a false. False is nothing but all the records that are booked, and that's exactly what we want. We want the total number of booked orders and then the total amount of all the booked orders. How do we do that? We add a code node over here. Code, enter. This is your code node. What we are telling, there are two ways, run once for each item, but we don't want to do that. We don't want to keep running for each item. We want to wait for all the items and then run it once, because we want the total over here to run once for all item. And this is the code. There are two languages that you can use. One is JavaScript, which is pretty mature in this tool, and Python is amazing. Python is very powerful, but it's in beta. They are not supporting it completely. For the tutorial, we are going to stick to the code node. Now, if you see, this is the code. It's basically getting all the data from previous node. Then it's getting the length. So items.length. Length is a function. So it's doing items like how many length of functions are there. What is the length of the items that we got from there? So if you don't know JavaScript, that's completely fine. This is for low code, no code tool. If you know JavaScript, it's much better. But if you don't know, it's not a problem. I don't know it that much as well. But I'm from a programming background, so I know loops, functions, data structures. I know it very well. I'm from a data background. If you don't know, the best way to do it is just the way I have done. I have asked it, can you, first let me copy this code over here. I'm going to copy this and put it over here. All right, we don't need this anymore. I'm going to give you these workflows. You can practice it yourself. No worries. If you want, you can practice it yourself as well. I'm going to ask, can you put a comment after every code and explain what it is doing? So basically, I'm just asking my Perplexity browser on what the code node is doing over here. It has access to this. So if you see over here, I don't know if we can copy paste it over here and it will still work. Let me see if this works first. So we're going to run this as it is. Let's see what happens. And we got total booked and the booked sum, which is the sum of all the values. Now I'm going to copy paste this over here and see if that works. Perfect, it works. So now in this way, I'm like, this is what I do, because this way I get to learn as well while I'm doing it. Use the ChatGPT or whatever tool you want. I'm using Perplexity over here. It's a comment browser, it's built in there. So now let's go step by step what it is trying to do. Fetches all the inputs from the given nodes. Over here we had a lot of inputs. In the if node, if you go back, there are 16 inputs. Over here there are 16 inputs. So it fetched all of that input in items. Then we got the length of the items, which is 16. So that's the total booked orders, which is 16. Now booked sum is 0. So first we are putting it as 0. Then we are using a for loop. Let's break this down, what it does. Let I, so I is another variable which is separate than booked sum. I is equal to 0, we're starting at 0. Then as long as I is less than length, so I 0 is less than 16, so it will do I plus plus. It means that it will increment it to 1. Then it will go and booked sum is equal to booked sum plus items.json.order price. So basically it is picking up this order price and it is adding to 0. So the first it comes, it is like 161.1, and then the value of the booked sum becomes 161.1. Then the next loop it happens is like 2. So this loop is going to work for 16 times and it's going to add everything together. That's why we are saying it run R at once, or else it won't work without that. And at the end, we are returning an array. Array is not anything in JSON which is inside a square bracket is an array. And array is nothing but a bunch of JSON objects inside it, or key value pairs. So we are returning one JSON object over here, which is total booked and booked sum, which is nothing but 16 and 2251.14. And that's the code node. I save it. We got the two things that we needed. Let's go back to our documentation. Close, we don't need it. All right, it's telling about the code node. If you want, you can go over here and it will tell you how to use code node and bunch, but I'm going to create another video which is going to break down each and every small step, how to use code node, all 4 nodes that we discussed about. However, for now, let's keep moving on. We're using JavaScript. And so JavaScript is a subset of Java, which is another object-oriented programming. And I really did not like Java. I wish I had learned it at that time. But I do know core Java. I know applets and swing, and so it helps. Definitely it helps. So we got this code node executed, and with that we come to the end of this chapter. And Nathan is getting happier with every tutorial. The code node is powerful, of course it is. As long as you have some JavaScript knowledge, it should be good. If not, use GPT. Don't worry about it. You'll get a hang of it as you go along. It's pretty simple. Variables, constants, variables, constants, data structures, while loops, for loops, and bunch of loops to manipulate the data, and functions to act on that data. So pretty simple, and we got it working. Now he needs to send all these calculations to his Discord channel. That is what we're going to do next. So thank you so much. Once again, this was Sandeep.